The movie opens with a massive explosion that shatters a portion of a rocky cliffside. In the sweltering heat, inmates at a labor camp are forced to break apart large stones. John Rambo, one of these laborers, is commanded to cease his work with a sledgehammer. Someone has arrived to speak with him. The ex-Special Forces operative, now toughened by hard labor, stops his task and accompanies a guard. Waiting at the perimeter is his former mentor, Colonel Trautman. Rambo fought in the Vietnam War under Trautman's leadership before eventually surrendering to the law to avoid execution. For a significant period, Trautman has searched for a way to liberate his soldier from incarceration. He requests a private moment from the guard and informs Rambo that his country requires his skills once more. American prisoners of war remain in Vietnam, confined within the exact camp from which Rambo previously escaped. He is the only one capable of the task. His objective is to penetrate the hostile territory and verify if any Americans are still living there. Rambo remains characteristically silent. He has long since lost faith in American principles, and returning to a site of his former torture holds no appeal. However, spending another 5 years in a forced labor camp is equally unappealing. Trautman understands Rambo's true motivations. Success in this mission will result in a temporary military reinstatement and a full presidential pardon. Rambo considers his circumstances, feeling his life currently lacks meaning. His former military unit no longer exists, and he has no family or friends left. The concept of freedom is abstract to someone so emotionally scarred. Yet aiding those abandoned prisoners, men who shared his experience, might provide him a new purpose. Before departing, Rambo stops him to ask a question, realizing the significance of the mission depends entirely on his actions. Rambo is transported to a United States military base in Thailand. Upon landing, he is met by a friendly man named Erickson, who expresses his pride in working with him. They enter the facility to meet Colonel Trautman and Marshal Murdock. Murdock evaluates Rambo, noting his impressive decorations, but questioning his ability to follow protocol after his previous brush with the law. Seeking to establish a connection, Murdock claims he also served in Vietnam, citing a specific battalion and the loss of his comrades. Intelligence suggests that approximately 2,500 Americans remain missing in action, and their families are desperate for any news of their fate. Rambo's directive is explicit: infiltrate the camp and obtain photographic proof of the prisoners. He is strictly forbidden from engaging in any combat. Hard evidence is required to justify any future military intervention in the current political climate. If Rambo provides proof, Trautman's team will handle the extraction. It is clear, however, that Rambo hates the concept of leaving fellow soldiers behind. Though he remains silent, his inner resolve is intensifying.
Trautman later goes over the tactical details. Rambo will begin by parachuting into the target zone, equipped with more technology than he is accustomed to. The colonel suggests he actually utilize the gear, as physical strength and knives will not suffice for a solo mission. Rambo is shown a high-tech command center designed to track and assist him. He is scheduled to meet a local contact named Co Bao. While Murdock promises a smooth operation, Rambo is skeptical, noting that safety is non-existent in Vietnam. Murdock expresses concern and speaks privately with Trautman. The colonel defends Rambo, calling him the greatest soldier produced by the war. He describes Rambo as a man who possesses the power of an entire army and is obsessed with winning a conflict others abandoned. If necessary, Rambo is prepared to die for the cause. Preparing for insertion, Rambo readies his combat knife, rifle, and specialized explosive arrows. Trautman offers his well wishes. Rambo has a 36-hour window to finish the task and reach the pickup point. Before leaving, Rambo informs Trautman that Murdock lied about his military service location. He emphasizes that Trautman is the only one he trusts. He is unlikely to follow anyone else's lead. Erickson pilots the aircraft into the sky. Watching from below, Murdock expresses doubt that Rambo will find any survivors. The objective is actually to appease the public, rather than conduct a rescue. Rambo, however, intends to prove them wrong. During the jump, Rambo's high-tech equipment immediately malfunctions, and his parachute becomes snagged, dragging him behind the plane. He is nearly pulled into the engine. Murdock panics and tries to stop the mission, but Rambo cuts himself loose, losing his heavy gear in the process. Most of his supplies are gone, but he manages to fall safely into the dark jungle, now off the radar. Claiming they have lost sight of him, Murdock tries to cancel the extraction. Trautman convinces him to follow the plan and wait for Rambo at the extraction site. Meanwhile, Rambo lands and begins his trek. Armed only with his knives, a bow, and a few arrows, he moves with determination into enemy territory. He navigates the jungle with stealth, avoiding snakes and following his compass. At the meeting point, he spots someone in a traditional hat. He cautiously ambushes the individual, only to find it is a woman named Co Bao, the local agent. She informs him that the camp has been vacant for a long time, suggesting his journey was pointless. Regardless, they seek help from a group of river pirates to stay hidden from patrols. After a tense money exchange, they travel upriver by boat. Rambo asks how they handle military threats, and the pirate leader reveals a Soviet rocket launcher as his response. During the journey, Co Bao asks why Rambo would return to Vietnam. He explains that upon returning to America, he found that a different kind of war was still being fought at home. He feels a sense of freedom only in combat. Co Bao reveals she serves in intelligence to honor her late father, but she dreams of a peaceful life in America. She is confused by Rambo's choice of a dangerous life. He describes himself as expendable, someone whose absence would go unnoticed. She holds her lucky charm, while Rambo identifies his knife as his own version of one.
At the base, Trautman wants to move to the extraction site, but Murdock attempts to stop him. Trautman eventually gets permission to proceed. At night, Rambo and Co Bao reach the camp, which appears deserted. They observe a woman arriving to visit the guards. Rambo prepares to enter, but Co Bao reminds him he is only supposed to take photographs. Rambo ignores the orders and cuts through the fence. He finds the camp is not empty after all. Following faint moans, he discovers American prisoners kept in a squalid, rat-infested room. Outside, he finds a prisoner named Banks tied to a frame like a scarecrow and releases him. As they sneak toward a bridge, Rambo silently kills one guard with a knife and another with an arrow. Co Bao is nearly caught, but Rambo takes down her potential captor as well. The three escape, and Rambo vows to return for the others. The next morning, the Vietnamese soldiers find the bodies and begin a pursuit. Banks is exhausted, so they stop to rest. Banks tells Rambo the prisoners are frequently moved for labor. He is shocked to learn that 10 years have passed since the war ended. They reach the river and board the pirate boat, with only 2 kilometers left to the extraction point where Trautman is waiting. However, the enemy intercepts a transmission and sends a patrol boat. The pirates betray Rambo, seizing his weapons to turn him in for a reward. Rambo reacts quickly, using hidden daggers to kill the pirate leader and then neutralizing the rest of the traitors. He orders his companions to jump overboard as the enemy boat opens fire. Rambo narrowly survives the gunfire and uses the rocket launcher to destroy the patrol boat. The flaming wreck nearly hits them, and Rambo escapes a final pirate's chokehold with his knife just before diving into the water. On shore, they continue toward the pickup site. Rambo says goodbye to Co Bao, who tells him he is not expendable. Their moment is interrupted by an ambush in a rice field. Under mortar fire, Rambo gets Banks to safety. Trautman and Nickson spot them from their helicopter. Back at the center, Murdock learns Rambo has a prisoner and panics. He orders the mission aborted and the helicopter to return immediately. Trautman is held at gunpoint while the chopper flies away. Abandoned and surrounded, Rambo and Banks are captured. Co Bao watches from the brush as they are taken. At the base, Trautman rages at Murdock, calling the entire operation and the war a lie. Murdock remains unmoved, stating the mission was designed to fail because the government values public calm over a few soldiers. Rambo was never meant to find evidence. Trautman realizes it is about money. Vietnam kept prisoners because America refused to pay reparations. Murdock warns that acknowledging the prisoners could start another war. When Murdock tells him to forget the mission, Trautman says the biggest mistake has already been made. Rambo is tortured in a waste-filled pit covered in leeches. Banks is returned to a cage with the others. A Soviet helicopter arrives carrying Lieutenant Colonel Podovsky, who orders Rambo to be cleaned for questioning. Rambo remains silent despite the pain. Podovsky introduces his interrogator, Sergeant Yushin, and heats Rambo's knife in coals.
Podovsky asks Rambo to radio a warning to his superiors, but Rambo refuses. Yushin uses electricity to shock him, but Rambo will not break. Podovsky reveals they know Murdock abandoned him.
Co Bao infiltrates the camp disguised as a worker and kills a guard to get a weapon. Podovsky brings in Banks to pressure Rambo. Yushin burns Rambo's face and threatens Banks' eye. Rambo finally agrees to talk. As he is placed before the radio, Co Bao moves toward the building. Murdock and Trautman listen as Rambo demands to speak with Murdock. Rambo then attacks his captors. Co Bao fires through the floor from below. Rambo shocks Yushin, breaks through the wall, and retrieves his knife. They escape into the jungle under heavy pursuit. The next morning, Co Bao tends to Rambo's wounds, and he thanks her for not leaving him. He plans to cross into Thailand, and she asks him to take her to America. They share a kiss. They are suddenly ambushed, and Co Bao is killed. Rambo kills the attackers, but one escapes. At the base, Trautman is arrested for trying to force a rescue. Rambo buries Co Bao and takes her pendant. The mission is now personal. Rambo becomes a silent predator, using mud and brush for camouflage. He kills soldiers one by one with his bow and knife. He uses traps and explosive arrows to wipe out squads. He finds and kills the man responsible for Co Bao's death. Yushin returns in a helicopter and drops a bomb, but Rambo survives. Rambo boards the low-flying chopper and kills Yushin and the pilot. Now piloting the gunship, he decimates the prisoner camp. He lands, clears the remaining guards, and rescues the Americans. Podovsky pursues them in a more powerful gunship. Rambo's helicopter is badly damaged, and he is forced to land in a river. Podovsky moves in for the kill, but Rambo fakes being unconscious and destroys the enemy with a rocket launcher. Rambo flies the damaged craft back to the base. Murdock flees when he hears Rambo's voice on the radio. Rambo lands and, armed with an M60, enters the command center. He destroys the computers and equipment with gunfire. He finds Murdock, who tries to blame his superiors. Rambo pins him to the wall with his knife, but refrains from killing him. He tells Murdock that American soldiers are still out there and demands action, not apologies. Outside, Trautman asks what Rambo will do now, mentioning more medals. Rambo says the medals belong to the men he saved, and that he is staying in Asia to find himself. He feels part of him died with his comrades. He tells Trautman he still loves his country and only ever wanted the respect and sense of belonging that every soldier deserves. As Rambo walks away, and that is how the movie ends.